All right, just an ongoing example. It's been less than 15 seconds. As you see the light dole out, it's not a cloudy day. The entity engages in this conduct as I capture very heavy hitting documentation. The light tends to disappear. As the entity listens to me speak to the fact that the demonic are real, the demon possessed, and their psychotic behavior, et cetera, you've seen the light activity enhance. This is a real-time reaction while the demon possessed entity listens to me. I just want you to pay attention to what is under no circumstances naturally ever happening. The sun's over me at 8:22 in the morning at 450 North Euclid Avenue. At 10:14 in the morning, the entity is right over my head inside of the building, which is covered with, thank goodness, the roof of the Upland Public Library shows the windows, and the light source is hovering directly above my head inside of that library, which is not sharing any sky space. There will never be any sunlight. All I wanted you to do, I'm going to stop recording that previous video, and immediately the light activity appears. That is documentation of what is terrorism. That is also speaking to real-time knowledge, and it's not just exhibited through the environment. Every single last demon, and imagine that's the level of violation. That's the level of terrorism. That's the level of stalking by a population, and those demons are sitting in helicopters, sitting around in fire trucks, sitting around in police vehicles and ambulances, group stalking, listening to me as one entity right now, and it is illustrated through the environment. Okay, so this is speaking to what is a massive threat to your safety, and I am one that is exposing it. This is a public safety concern in this country. This population is surrounding, this population is hostile, this population is psychotic. They are ticking time bombs. And with regard to the government, you're talking about a prosecution. They're going to be systematically snatched out of those positions where they're posing that threat to the public. But you're talking about those Mary Jane and Foe, okay, who are, and many Mary Janes and Foe and Joes are going to be prosecuted in this prosecution. But I want to be clear, the greater picture is that they're all around. These are the so-called citizens in this country, and they're demons, and they're engaging in state surveillance with the government. This is a demonic agenda, all right? You're able to identify it and prosecute it because it's the state system. But this is the bigger picture. What you're learning, the lesson, is that there's a real-time demonic agenda underway in the U.S., which is I'm going to limit it to this jurisdiction in the U.S. because this is where I live. Like I said, I'm minding my business. This is where I'm at, and this is what I'm going to speak on. Okay, but obviously, the demonic agenda is not going to be limited to just the U.S. We are not the center of the universe, contrary to what we actually portray ourselves as on the world scene, but that's not the case. Okay, and as much as we are remaining asleep right now, meaning not paying attention, all right, ignorant to what is actually going on, it's in plain sight, it's right in front of you, and there are people that are suffering right now at the hands of corrupt governments, and they are hiding behind the people of the state. You're naming Mary Jane as the one that did the targeted individual wrong. No, there's a whole system that Mary Jane is acting in conformity to, and they would rather you identify Mary Jane, all right, and the system will work to get Mary Jane off, or you have those that take they take an L for the whole team, and they might go to jail or whatever, but they'll find a way to escape justice. Let me be clear, the ongoing agenda, the objective is to make sure that you stay ignorant about what's actually happening. Satan does not want you to recognize the reality of his presence, the reality of his workers. Okay, these are demons engaging in what are a systematic means of keeping you under surveillance. The engineer light, it's not sunlight, and you know this. The light source is remaining over me, and this is why you document, because it is unmistakable and irrefutable, and there will be no scientific expert that will ever contend anything else, not reasonably so, and I doubt that there's going to be any idiot that will get up and speak such idiotic, I would love to encounter that because I would shred that in federal court. But nonetheless, you have what is the light source that's over the building, okay? The building of 450 North Euclid Avenue, and as I walk inside, less than 2 hours later at 10:14, it's directly above my head, which you can see through the roof of the Upland Public Library. The light source remains outside as a matter of documentation outside of this living room window, which I am on the third floor at 1806 North Alvarado Street. I'm facing in the east direction. All right. And for the duration of the day, it remains over me, which is how I'm capturing the light source at 12:47 p.m., reminding you about the San Bernardino Superior Court. At 1:17 p.m., reminding you about the Fontana Lewis Library, where this entity that's group stalking engaged in criminal surveillance. Okay. Where I'm reminding you at what is 5:30 p.m., 5 p.m., the same venue, for example, even the sunrise and sunset at the multiplicity of venues. None of this is coexisting with the sunrise at Economy Inn at 7:50 in the morning, at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. Same time of year, daylight savings time. None of it coexists with that. This is a specific environment where this entity engaged in kidnapping while they're keeping you under surveillance. That's the threat that they are to the people. American citizens, not the people of the state. The people of the state are in the shoes of the government. That's the threat that they are to the people in this country while they're keeping you under surveillance and trying. They failed. They've already lost. This is documentation of impunity and malice, and there are specific names who are going to suffer the consequences for what I continuously document. This is demonic. It's as demonic as the light activity that you see all over throughout my apartment. It's as demonic, as impossible as the sun being over the Upland Public Library and it being outside of my living window and through closed blinds, appearing at a distance on the floor and then dragging through and remaining for the duration of the day, rising and setting through the same windows of one apartment. It is impossible in every regard. So like I said, I just wanted to show you seconds later, the light source, disappearing. Look at the last few seconds of that previous video. Seconds later, I turn it on, that light activity reappears just like that. It's not going anywhere. It's not the natural environment under any circumstances. And that is going for the prosecution and the disbanding of every police department that has already been documented and exposed as engaging in what is the absolutely un-American and intolerable criminal conduct by a corrupt agency. Law enforcement agencies will be disbanded, engaging in this un-American system, demonstrating the level of impunity and hostility to your as an American and to your constitutional rights. Let me be clear, it's antithetical to their very positions. That's why they're going to be disbanded, because you're also going to make an example out of them. Okay, it is currently, again, 8:16 a.m. This is P.O.C.